So are you a teenager or a young adult who wants to invest in real estate, but you feel like you're too young? Have you heard about real estate maybe from your parents? And you do believe it's the best way to retire early since you don't want to be working as long as your parents have. I want to let you know that if you want to get started investing in your teens or even in your early 20s, you can. You're not too young. People will, in fact, take you seriously, and you can begin today. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips on how you can make that happen. Hey, my name is Michael Blank and help people become financially free with real estate. Let's do this. So if you're a bit on the younger side, the biggest fear is that, hey, no one's going to take you seriously because I'm a young person, right? Who's going to do that? Yeah, I don't know I don't know enough to get started with real estate. I don't have any experience. Maybe you're still in school or in college. And then because of that, you don't have a lot of confidence to talk with a bunch of people. So you don't feel like you don't know anything, you don't know anyone, and you actually don't have a lot of confidence. Now, all those things can be problems, but they're all limiting beliefs. And the reason I say that is because there's a number of young people who have gotten into apartment building investing, oftentimes skipping single family house investing entirely. For example, there's Cody Davis. He got started with apartment building investing at 21 years old, kind of hustled a little bit, got some creative financing. And within 18 months, he was making $5,000 per month. He was still living with his parents, so $5,000 was plenty. He was essentially financially free at the age of 22. It was crazy. Kyle Marcotte is another young person. He learned how to raise capital, which is what we're going to do. You're going to raise capital from other people. You're going to raise the capital. You don't need your own money. And so he learned how to do that when he was 20 years old. He was a pre-med student at UC Davis, and that helped him to syndicate 2 deals totaling 119 units worth $5.5 million. Wow. And then he dropped out of college to focus on real estate. So you can do the same thing. And so I'm going to give you 3 tips to get started in multifamily right now. Number 1 is educate yourself. Start reading books, right? So the first book you should read, if you haven't done already, is to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That's number 1. That's a purple book. And then right afterwards, read my book. It's called Financial Freedom with Real Estate Investing. It's yellow. So what I like to do is give people the purple book first and then the yellow book. The purple book because it puts ideas in your head such as passive income, financial independence, things of that nature. Real estate, obviously, right? So it really shifts your mind about, hey, let's not work for money. Let's have money work for you. So it's a critical book around mindset. The problem is with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it doesn't really give you the exact playbook on how to achieve these goals. That's where my yellow book comes in because it really gives you an introduction into syndication. Syndication is a fancy word for raising money and buying real estate, but don't buy single family houses like everybody else does. No, get right into apartment buildings, which is what both Cody and Kyle have done as well. And again, it just takes some education and then get in the habit of reading 1 book a month, of listening to podcasts. And it doesn't all have to be real estate investing. It could be mindset podcasts, things of that nature, right? So maybe read a little less fiction, play slightly less video games and watch less TV and just start feeding your mind. Make that a lifestyle and a habit in your life. Number 2, build your team. And what I mean by that is being a younger person, you feel like you don't have a lot of experience. And here's the honest thing, even if you're an older person, you might not feel like you have enough experience either. And the solution to that is to build a team around you, right? Now, why would someone take you seriously? Okay, as a young person, okay, it might take you a little longer to build a team maybe than someone who's in their mid-30s. I don't know, okay? But the point is this, if you educate yourself and you're starting to use the right language, okay, you will eventually attract some people to your team. And once you do, it snowballs. So let's say, example, you start, a most important team member is going to be your property manager, right? So you start networking and trying to look for a property manager. And, a lot of them are blowing you off and whatever. But then you find some person, you jibe a little bit, and it gives you a better shot. Right? The one advantage you do have as a young person is people actually want to help you. They would be less inclined to help a 40-year-old. But if you're 17 or 22-year-old, you're going to get more people to open up because they want to help the next generation. So that's actually you have going for you. So you might, because of that, you might get one of people who actually want to give you a shot. But let's say you have a property manager on the team and they say, okay, look, when you get really close to a deal, I'll drive by, I'll take a look at it, I'll help you underwrite the deal a little bit, and then, of course, I want to manage that property, right? So a lot of the good property managers do this. And so once you have this property manager on your team, now you can leverage that person to attract the next team member. For example, a lender or an attorney or a CPA or some sort of like that. And as you build up your team, okay, it doesn't become about you and your age or your lack of experience, but it becomes about the collective track record and experience of your team. That's how you overcome any kind of issues of track record and experience. So number 2 is is start building your team, because it's not about you at all. In fact, what I want you to start doing is one book I want you to read is called Who Not How. And in the team building exercise, okay, normally we're wired to ask how questions. How do I do this? How do I speak to brokers? How do I raise money? How do I find deals? How do I blah, blah, blah? Okay. What Who Not How says, if you really want to scale, do significant things in life, start asking who questions, right? So if you don't have money, you can ask, how do I raise capital questions, but you're going to say, who can help me get capital, right? How do I get deal flow? You could say, who can help me get deal flow? So it's much more of a team-based approach. Also, part of that team is partnering with other people. It's not a lone sport. Single family house investing, a lot of things you do in school or your job, it's just about you. But in syndications, the word syndication implies that there's a team around you. There's partners involved. There's investors involved. So read that book, Who Not How, and really start developing a who not how mentality. And that leads me to number 3. So in order to achieve number 2, it's so daggone important that number 3 is to talk to everybody as a network. Get in the habit of talking to people. Always be networking. Because what happens is your comfort zone expands. The more you talk to people, your comfort zone expands. You're only one relationship away from achieving a whole new level. And I've had this experience several times in my life where I didn't feel like I could do something. And someone, an older person, okay, said, hey, it's not a big deal. I've done this many times. You can do it. I have confidence in you. So when you're talking to people like that, because you're a bit younger, people are more inclined to want to mentor you or give you advice, and you got to leverage that. In fact, what I find wild is that hardly anybody asks me or other people like that for advice, for help. And especially if you're a younger person, I'm like, normally it's like, I don't have the time, okay? Why don't you sign up for my program and I'll help you then? But if you're a younger person, you reach out to these more experienced people. No one does this. I don't know why. If you're a young person, you definitely need to leverage, take advantage of this. If the situation is, ask experienced people for advice. Ask them to meet once a month. Have them for an informal mentorship, something like that. And that's really key, is really start talking to everybody. Every time you talk to somebody, also, obviously keep in touch with that person, but also get a referral. Hey, who else do you think I should talk to? If you get a referral from everybody that you talk to, then you never really run out of people to talk to. And that's also, by the way, the secret to raising capital is to always get a referral, always get a referral. So when you talk to someone, you get a referral, talk to that person, thank the other person, get a referral from the other person, and so on. So you're constantly talking to people. You can do this in person. You can do it in meetups, of course. Check out meetups and see where you can connect them. But also, you can do this on Zoom as well. A lot of times, just use virtual Zoom events, private message everybody behind the scenes going, hey, my name's so-and-so, here's my email. Do you mind if I connect with you afterwards? And of course, they're going to say yes. You email them, then you set up another 20, 30-minute Zoom call with every single person, and that's how you build your network. So that's tip number 3, is to really start talking to everybody. So if you're a teenager, young adult, right now is really an awesome opportunity for you because you have the time, right? You have the ability to make connections, you have hustle, and you can use that to get way ahead of everybody else in the space. And start at step number 1, educate yourself, develop a who not how mentality, start building your team, and then network your butt off. Always be talking to everybody. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on this either, right? A book here or there, a podcast is free. So spend as little as you can right now. And one great next step is, before you read all those books, is to check out my Apartments 101 Masterclass, because it's only like 45 minutes long, right? So it's a little bit shorter than reading a couple of books. So you should still read Rich Dad Poor Dad and then my yellow book and then Who Not How. But watch the Apartments 101 by clicking the link below, because it really gives you a very quick overview of what I'm talking about right now. So it's free and you'll learn the basics of apartment investing. So with that, don't use age as an excuse. Get there and start doing some deals and get you some financial freedom. Catch you next time.